It's official, like a referee with a whistle. So like and share this episode. So today I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about a couple of questions that I'm getting over the past month or so. And somebody was like, "Hey, am I a fan of New York City? And what do I think about the city within itself?" I've been in New York many times. I've been in New York many times over the past 10 years, I would say. New York is a bubble. When I say a bubble, only certain things happen in New York. New York is one of those places where it's kind of like a fantasy, really. It's kind of like going to Las Vegas, or going to the strip club, where it's like what happens in the strip club is stays there. What happens in Vegas stays there. Just like what happens in New York stays in New York City. So that's what I mean when I say New York is a bubble. You know, things happen in New York. It's not, a lot of that shit is lies. It's not really, it doesn't translate outside of New York City. A lot of stuff people say and a lot of stuff people do. This is why you have people like some of these rappers that will say, they'll just tell blatant lies. They'll say, well, hip hop was 50-50. But in reality, there's no such thing as 50-50. Just the whole 50-50 concept, that doesn't exist. So just that, you don't even have to know the history of hip hop. But just the 50-50 concept doesn't exist. It's just logically speaking, we know that's a lie. I don't even have to investigate the history because the whole 50-50 concept, that doesn't exist, right? And then you have other people that will say, well, hip hop started in Jamaica. Well, if you go to Jamaica or go to any of these Caribbean islands, you would know that's a lie. Because these people are not developing anything in these Caribbean countries. You know, see, New York is built, is full of foreigners in New York City. And most of them, there's a lot of Caribbeans there. That's probably, I would say probably not over 90% is Caribbeans. It's not a lot of black people that their family is born and raised in New York. That's almost doesn't exist. Most black people I know moved up there from somewhere. Their family moved up there from somewhere a long time ago. Like my uncles and aunts did. They moved up to New York City like 50, 60 years ago. And now they moved back home. You know, because they retired. They had kids. They got grandkids. So they said, hey, I'm going back home. Right? Now, most of the people that live up there now are foreigners. That's how it is. So, you know, up in New York, you know, they got the Caribbean thing going on. So if you're a woman that's from any of these islands, Jamaica, maybe Puerto Rican, from St. Thomas, any of these islands, you just shit in New York. Oh yeah, you just shit in New York, boy. If you're a woman, man or woman, really, especially if you're a woman, because they got the you got an accent. Them dudes up there, they be extra with it. They be like, hey, hey, where you from? I'm from Jamaica. Oh, rude girl. I'm Jamaica girl. They be extra with it, boy. And if you're a girl that's from, if you're a Puerto Rican girl, they say, hey, dude say, hey, where you from, ma? You know what I'm saying? Where you from, ma? Mamacita, senorita. They extra with it, boy, in New York, boy. You need to see this shit play out, and you see this shit play out in real life. I was laughing my ass off. The first time I seen it play out, but the funny thing about New York is if all these people from Caribbean islands now. So when somebody like me come in, they say, hey, where you from, my man? Oh, I'm from South Carolina. See, I get reduced, whether I'm a man or a woman, I get reduced to the regular nigga in New York. Because everybody's from these islands, and see, that's exotic to them. It really is, and in their mind. Being from the islands is exotic. Because they say, hey, you got an accent, you're dope, that's great and everything or whatever. But if you go back to where these people came from, you'd be like, you're not so great after all. And a lot of these people are ashamed of where they came from. They don't like to talk about where they came from. They don't even want to tell you where they came from. You kind of have to, they don't make claims. If you ask them where they're from, oh, I'm from Brooklyn, from Manhattan, or the Bronx. No, I said, no, where your family came from. You gotta pull teeth. They don't want to tell you. Because they're ashamed of it. Which is a weird thing, by the way. Doesn't make no sense. I mean, I learned this years ago with a guy that I was in the military with. He was from Mexico. But the people around him didn't know he was from Mexico. Didn't know at all. But I said that he was from Mexico in front of his friends. Right? I didn't know any of these people, by the way. I'm just visiting. So after I mentioned him being from Mexico in front of them, after everybody was, because I'm riding with him at the time. I'm visiting. So we getting in the car, we're leaving, and he was like, hey, I didn't appreciate how you put me out there like that. So I'm like, what do you mean? You told them that I was from Mexico. And I was like, yeah, they didn't know that? He was like, no. So I say, hey, what's wrong with that? He's like, I just don't like, didn't want them to know where I was originally from. So I was like, oh, okay, my bad, whatever. So that's when I first realized that. It's kind of a weird thing. But once you go back to where they came from, where their families came from, I was like, yeah, I kind of get it. I kind of understand. I can understand. Because a lot of these places are they have slums and people are. I don't know what these people are doing. They're not developing anything, and we're over here putting in the work. They're over there smoking a blunt, or getting high. Or I'm like, what the hell? I don't know what the hell going on, man. But when they come over here, they get brand new. Boy, they act like, I came over here with $2 in my pockets. You need to pull yourself up by your bootstrap. But we know it's a lie. But that's New York though. They got, all of a sudden, they're arrogant now because they got a job. It still is that type of mentality that you have up there. That's why I say most of the shit is not really real. It doesn't. That same person can leave and go to North Carolina, and they'll leave and go back to New York eventually, because it ain't gonna, the stuff they do in New York ain't gonna really fly, ain't gonna work, ain't gonna translate into what they're doing up in New York. Because in New York, people are doing the most. They're running scams, they're fast talking people, they're ripping people off, they're doing all this wild, crazy shit. If you go to another state, that ain't gonna work, because it's a different environment. And it ain't a bunch of foreigners around like New York City is. So it's a completely different environment, and shit is more real outside of New York City. Like middle America, the Midwest, shit is real out there. Ain't nobody, you got people in the Midwest ain't never been to New York City and don't want to go to New York City and don't care about New York City and think New York City is full of fucking weirdos. And in most cases, they're right. They're right in most cases. New York City is one of those places where you can say, I'm from, if somebody say, hey, wait, where you from in New York? I'm from Spanish Harlem. You'd be like, where is that? Oh, that's Washington Heights, right? But ain't nobody from Spain living in Washington Heights. It's full of Dominicans and a handful of Puerto Ricans and a sprinkle of everybody else. But ain't nobody from Spain live there. And see, this is one of the best examples of what I'm talking about. See, people that speak Spanish up there, they just label all of them Spanish. Because see, in their mind, they kind of they think they're part of the Spanish Empire. They, but these same people, Dominicans, Colombians, Mexicans, if they go to Spain, they'll be like, what you want? We ain't rocking with y'all. We'll take your ass back to America or something. Go get a goddamn tacos and get the hell away from me. So it's a kind of a weird thing they got going on. All the Spanish speaking people. It's weird. It's only in New York is like that. Yeah, only New York is like that. LA, kind of, a little bit, but especially New York. Because like I said, if you're from the Caribbean islands, you're the shit. If you're a woman, you're from the DR, what's up, mommy? What's up, ma? You know what I'm saying? You're from... if you speak Spanish and you live in New York, you like the shit. Oh, yeah, Puerto Rican woman. Oh, mommy. Oh, yeah. Them dudes extra, boy. What a boy. You're the shit up there in New York. That's why a lot of women, they ain't trying to leave New York. Shit. If they do leave New York, it's going to be with a man in most cases. Unless they're running from something. But there's a lot of benefits that come with a lot of these women living in New York. These dudes be drooling over these women. They'll be like, oh, mommy, yeah. So I remember one time, man, I used to work with this lady that was from Spain. She came straight from Spain. Her and her husband moved here. Her husband got a job here. And they moved here together. And they came here, they were married. And then they had kids. And they ended up getting a divorce. after the kids turned 18, right? And so we used to work together. And I remember she used to own a tailor shop. Right? She used to tailor suits, dresses, whatever, right? But I remember she used to work part-time in Bank of America. Her tailor office was downstairs. And whenever she was done doing whatever she was doing in her shop, she would come upstairs and work part-time, mostly on weekends. And I after about 6 months, because she was a cool woman. She was cool. She was older at the time. I was in my 20s. She was in her 40s. She was a cool woman, but she said, "Hey, I'm from Spain, whatever, blah blah blah, this and that." And I realized that she didn't fuck with none of them people that spoke Spanish. Anything but the Latin people. She did not fuck with them. Anybody that spoke Spanish, she did not fuck with them. She fucked with the white people, the black people, Asian people. She did not fuck with none of them Latin people. And I realized this over about 6 months. And I never asked her about it. But I realized that, she don't really fuck with them like that. Because she would even date whites, blacks. But I never seen her with a Latin dude. Never. She would do business with him. They'll come to her and tailor the suits or whatever. But that's it. And she ended up getting married to a black dude from Savannah. And they ended up moving to Florida. But she did not fuck with no Latin people. She wasn't into nothing, the salsa or the music, none of that shit. And even that music, who said that shit was good music? That's after you listen to this shit, this is not good melody. This is who said this music was good music? That's the weird shit, man. But this happens in New York. This happens in New York. All the people be dancing. I'm like, you like this shit? What do you like about this type of music? I mean, you can listen to any music you want in the world, but what do you like about this type of music? This shit, the melody, the beat. Who produced this shit? Who said this music was good? That's all I'm saying. I never got an answer from anybody. Who said this salsa music? Who said this was good music? I don't even hear this shit on the radio. That shit they be playing. Who? I'm just saying, man. Just only in New York. You see and hear a lot of this shit. Of course you hear some music other places, but people will make claims to anything and say anything in New York, and they don't get checked. People just hear what they say and they'll just move on. But most of the shit is lies. It's like they'll say, you say, hey, what's up, Spanish Jose? He said, I'm Spanish Jose. Where you live at? Washington Heights, right? Spanish Jose is a Mexican dude. And I remember this dude came down with my cousin, right? Street dudes at the time. This is like summertime when we were teenagers. around this. I think this is like my last year in high school. Spanish Jose used to come down. My cousin, they used to call him Big Mick. Big Mick. Spanish Jose, hey, Big Mick, right? The first time I met this dude, I'm like, yeah, you can't. Something about this dude ain't right, man. And coming to find out, they had a drug bust. All these dudes went to jail. My cousins, all of them went to jail, except for Spanish Jose, Big Mick. He didn't get locked up, and I was like, "Oh, he told on y'all, bro. He told on y'all, bro." I told my cousin he told on y'all, and he said, "Well, how you figure? Well, hell, he the only one that ain't get locked up. If all of y'all go down to the police station." And they let him go, and everybody else can't get out. Not only did everybody didn't get out, they ended up going to prison shortly after. But not him. Not Spanish Jose. Spanish Jose is still walking around to this day in the Bronx, while everybody's just getting out of jail today. So I would be very suspect of that if that was me. Then maybe it's just me. And I have another example where, let's say somebody pick you up in his car, his or her car, and y'all get stopped. And you're not driving, of course. So, cop say, "Hey, I need everybody to get out the car." Y'all get out the car. Come to find out, the driver license suspended, right? But y'all go downtown. You ain't the driver, but they say, "Hey, you gotta go too," right? You're like, "What?" So y'all both go downtown. They let the driver go with a suspended license, but they didn't let you go. Wouldn't you be a little suspect? Like, how the hell I'm still here and that bitch gone? I'll be very suspect. Now this person came to pick you up from your house now, but you're in jail. And they at home by this time. So I'm like, how in the hell did I end up here? I could have been home in my damn bed. So see, it's that type of shit. That happens in New York City. I have hundreds of stories like this from other people. But a lot of this shit only happens in New York, And see, I've learned that a lot of these people that come over here, they're not really fucking with us like that. They're not really rocking with us like that. This is all talk, double talk, fast talking. This is all talk. That's why I'm not really a fan of New York, because it ain't real. It doesn't translate to anything outside of New York. It's just all shits and giggles, fun and games, lying, robbing, and stealing, and whatever people do to get money or have a good time. So I choose not to even live. I would never live in a place like that, where the laws is already crazy. We got mayors like Giuliani that went crazy when he was in office. So I'm like, nah. And then you got that mayor in there now. I don't know, man. They say he might be a foreigner, So I don't really see. We have a different mindset compared to a lot of these foreigners. Most of these people are professional ass kissers. We have a different relationship with white people than they do as well. They look up to white people. I don't look up to anybody like that. I mean, they have to earn. That has to be earned. That can't just be given just because you're of a certain class or nationality. No, I don't work like that. Just because you have a letter behind your name or a professional title, I don't just claim that you're God Almighty. But a lot of these people do. Not only that, if they find out that you're against what they believe in, or if you respond in such a way, you get some pushback from them. For sure. This is based on my experience. They're very submissive to these other groups. They're submissive to Arabs, whites, East Indians. We have a different experience, different way of thinking. Especially these people that are coming from the islands. We're like from a different world compared to where they coming from. It's like when they come over here, they ain't trying to rock the boat. They trying to get in where they fit in. All right? We ain't trying to get in where we fit in. We trying to create and develop and live our best life. We ain't trying to fit in with no other group of people. We ain't trying to kiss no ass and when we're happy with who we are, for the most part, you always have a couple stragglers or whatever, a couple boule cats or butt kissers. But if you walk up to the majority of black people that's born and raised here like I am, they're pretty much happy with who they are. Just, they don't want to be anybody else. That's what I'm saying. Now, these other people, they identify with white, they identify with, they're not happy with who they are. They're ashamed of where they came from in most cases. They're trying to be somebody, they're trying to be Spanish, they're trying to be white, they want to be Anglo so bad. We ain't really trying to, a lot of us couldn't be white or Anglo or Caucasian even if we tried. So that ain't gonna work with us. But a lot of these other people, like when they walk, a lot of these other people, if you really look at them, because a lot of them can change, they can dye their hair or change their hair texture or, have surgery or do all kinds of shit to their looks. A lot of these people, when they walk into a room, you don't know where they're from. You have to kind of guess or, kind of be like, okay, she looked like this. She got big ass and tits. She might be from Colombia. I mean, without even talking, without her even talking, let's take the average woman take the average Latin woman. If she walk into a room and you didn't know if you didn't know her from a can of paint, you'd be like, okay, she got big ass and tits. So either she's from, she got heavy features, either she's from the Dominican Republic or Colombia or someplace like that. You know, maybe Mexico, but highly unlikely, right? You know, you kind of had to guess. And then you say, hey, where you from? And she'll be like, oh, I'm from Colombia. I said, yeah, I kind of knew it. It's like process of elimination. You know what I'm saying? When I walk into the room, everybody know where I'm from. It ain't gonna be no goddamn confusion. And be like, most of the women will be like, that is a Black American man right there. Yes, he's very tall, you know, and he's very handsome. Yes, so they're not gonna. Most women are not. Most people, men and women, they're not gonna be confused, you know. So we couldn't pass for white, Caucasian, even if we wanted to. But these other groups of women, they can. These other groups of guys, they can. You know, there's some Asian guys that could pass for white. There's some Latin guys that could pass for white. You know, now you might say, well, there's some black guys or African American guys that can pass for white too. Yeah, but that's far and few in between. It ain't too many of us like that. You know, most of us. That's a very small percentage. You know, and even the black guys that can pass for white, if you look at him real good in his face, you'd be like, yeah, he's black. You know, I can tell, but and the white people that he work around, they definitely can tell. You know, I'm just saying. So, like I said, New York is a bubble. You know, there's a lot of things going on in New York that, on the surface, it's not real. It's not like that anywhere. You know? So, that's how it is. You know? Now, can you have good relationships with, like, I call these one-off relationships with people in these communities? Like, for example, maybe you meet a girl. This is a good example. Let's say she's an East Indian girl. And most East Indians are, they practice Hebrew, right? That's their religion. That's the main religion. And they don't date out. They don't really get down like that very often. I'm not saying it doesn't ever happen, but it's not rare. It's not common, I would say. Right? Now, what's the chances of you having a relationship with an East Indian woman that's in America? It's very it's very slim. You know, is it possible? Yeah. Especially in New York, it's possible. Right? Now, can you have a relationship with her? It's possible. What about her family? It's probably not going to happen. So that's what I'm talking about. You can have a one-off relationship with just her, but the family and her community it's probably not gonna happen with them. That's what I mean when I say a one-off. So now if you tried to have a relationship with an East Indian woman in some place like Florida, it's probably not gonna happen, because that's a different environment. That's a different state. Like I said, New York is a bubble. The things you do in New York, it's highly unlikely to happen anywhere else. Just like Atlanta. Atlanta is kind of a bubble, but it ain't. I wouldn't say it's there yet, but it's getting there. Because some things happening in Atlanta doesn't happen anywhere else either. And the only reason that's happening is because people up north, New York, are moving to Atlanta. Because Atlanta is the next closest place to New York City. That's what I was told. I don't, whatever. At least for them, that's their mindset anyway. People that live up there. But that's all I have to say. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm just telling you my experience, what I think, and how it is. I'm just a messenger. That's it. So like and share this episode. Until next time, I'm out. Peace.